Eddie, the president sounding like an I don't know what on this call, sounding like not sounding like a president, not sounding like a leader. And as we've talked about, as Alexei, as we've all discussed over the last hour and a half, such a contrast from a grieving brother, Terrence Floyd, as Alexei said, calling on people to work within the system, to go vote, while Donald Trump tells governors to treat a protester throwing a rock the same way they would treat someone shooting a gun, on the heels of tweets calling for looters to be shot.
Yeah, we know Donald Trump has authoritarian tendencies to be generous. We know that he has not governed for the entire nation. He's only governed in light of a small percentage of the country. And what we're seeing over the course of this crisis that we're currently in is that it's not only in terms of a political calculus that Donald Trump simply doesn't care about all of the country. He doesn't have the capacity to empathize with people suffering. That much is clear. But it's obvious that certain portions, certain populations just simply don't come into his view, such that he can extend a sense of moral concern for them. And so in some ways, he's a reflection of an exaggerated sense of policy orientation to a certain segment of the country. He ignores us like certain policy positions ignore us, if that makes sense to you. So to be honest with you, Nicolle, I don't want to hear from him. I don't want to hear from him because I don't think he'll help at all.
Well, Alexei, this is where, Eddie, and we heard the Mayor Bottoms of Atlanta say, he shouldn't say anything. And I know from my own conversations that Trump's allies in the Republican Party didn't want to hear from him either on Saturday night, as many American cities burned. I mean, this is a place where there is some agreement across the partisan divide.
Yeah, after the coronavirus and he started doing these daily briefings, his allies saw that, President Trump at the podium is detrimental to himself. President Trump on Twitter is good for his standing, usually until something like this, and he can't control himself and the things that he says. I think what's interesting with this call that he had with governors today is that we hear in no uncertain terms not only how he feels about the situation going on, but the hierarchy that he believes exists among governors, protesters, thugs, as he calls them, black and brown folks, the people who don't look like him. We see the way in which he turns so many people into an other. But what is alarming now is that he is sending these ominous tweets about shooting looters and telling governors that they look weak, and that saying that someone throwing a rock is similar to shooting a gun. That just doesn't make any sense. And the only point is to incite more violence, but against people who he thinks looks nothing like him and are working against him because they're exercising their First Amendment right. That is what's really disheartening and really alarming in this moment. President Trump can otherize people of all stripes in different ways. Now it is turning into inciting violence against those people, and there are no uncertain terms about that.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.